For those of you who have watched my previous videos on how I plan and how I do this surgery for Parkinson's disease of burning the circuit in the brain, you say, he's talking as if it's so easy. It can't be so easy. Anyway, it's not his head, it's somebody else's head. So that's why he's talking it so easily. Ladies and gentlemen, please understand, we are all very, very committed to make sure our patients go through this journey as painlessly as possible because it's an awake surgery. Welcome everybody. My name is Dr. Sharan Srinivasan. I'm a stereotactic and functional neurosurgeon practicing in Bengaluru, India. So today's video, I want to tell you how I talk to the patient when the decision of surgery is being made. How does the patient receive it? What are the emotions the patient goes through? How do we help the patient to address those emotions the best way possible so that this partnership and trust is built? And because of this partnership and trust, we work together, the patient and me with my team, to make sure we get the best possible result for the patient. This is very important, the trust building and the emotional bonding in such surgeries, especially because they are awake. When you're under general anesthesia, even if you're anxious, you fall asleep and you only wake up when the surgery is done. So it's not, it doesn't matter. Here it really does matter because not only is the patient awake, I don't want him to be anxious because I need him to listen to me when I give my commands and make sure he understands the commands and gives me the right feedback. Because without the right feedback from the patient, I cannot progress and do this surgery well. So it's like I tell every patient, it's a partnership between the two of us, and that's why we have to bond well to make this happen. So once the decision of, even when I say maybe we should start considering surgery, there's a panic in the patient and the family's world and in their mind, because surgery, the word surgery itself has a lot of negative and mixed emotion connotations that goes along with that. They say, really, doctor, do you think you can adjust the medicines? Please see how that will work. I don't think I'm ready for surgery, so on and so forth. Anyway, sometimes since this is not life-threatening, nothing has to be done urgently, we sort of have these conversations many months with patients sometimes before they start realizing that their suffering is too much, the disease is impacting the quality of their life. Some of them are having to stop to go to work. Some of them have reached a stage where they cannot even do the normal daily chores like shaving or eating or drinking, and then they realize that it's not worth living life like this. And that's when they come to the point they feel that anything that can help me to reduce my symptoms maybe is worth taking a risk. So that's when so the suffering that the patient goes through, the impact on the quality of life of the patient and the family actually is a very important part of the decision making process, or augments the decision making for the patient. So once the decision for surgery is made and we realize that he is going to be a candidate for either DBS or radiofrequency ablation, the next set of questions come up is, how is the surgery going to go? What are the risks of surgery? What will happen? What should I be prepared for? So one thing I do very clearly is I don't say too much too early, because I don't want patients to think unnecessary on things that they need not know, until they need to know it. So I give the information in installments. So obviously that's why you're seeing the information coming in installments here also. So I will tell them only as much as they need to know to be comfortable and not apprehensive of what is going to happen next. So once the frame is fixed, how it's going to go, how the planning is going to go, how much time they have to wait and things like that. From the frame on till the frame off, which is post-surgery, we also get an MRI done for the patient and then take the frame off, is roughly 6 to 7 hours. So because of the local anesthesia is given, patient really experiences no pain, except a little bit in the ear for 1 minute when we try to fix the frame. That's about all, 1 minute, 2 times. Otherwise, there's really no pain at all. Most patients say that we are very comfortable, there's no apprehension at all. They participate very well during surgery, tell me all the feedbacks perfectly, they follow the instructions very well. And lo behold, the surgery goes very well. Another thing I have observed, after the second lesion is done, once they start seeing the results, they start getting better, they are confident. Then they say, Marty, doctor, go ahead and do it. I'm very confident now. I know I'm going to get well. Suddenly, there's a level of belief in the patient himself or herself that I'm going to get better with this surgery. And then they participate better, they get stronger in their feedback, they tell me what is happening, and then it's fantastic. Now, a lot of people ask me the question, is it risky to go inside the brain? Don't you think so? And things like that. And the only simple answer I have is God has designed this human brain or the human body for surgeons. It's just amazing how we have surgeons have learned to use how God has created in the best possible way to get the best possible results with the least side effects or complications. So, ladies and gentlemen, burning a circuit in the brain looks obviously is not simple, but it's not difficult by a trained hand, and if done well, the results are magical. So, what happens once the surgery is done? Once the surgery is done and the stitches are put, the patient goes back. The frame that we had fixed in the beginning of surgery does not get removed. The patient has to go back for an MRI. So many patients ask me, why MRI again, doctor? Because some patients don't like the MRI or things. They just got had enough of it. So for me, it's very important because the MRI comes back to my software, and then we put the post-op MRI in and see what target was planned and what was achieved. We have to make sure that we have hit the target that we had planned, and this accuracy is sub-millimeter. So it has to be more or less on the spot. It's very important. If you go back to this particular case itself, I will show you here. This was a pre-op MRI. Now if you go to the post-op MRI, you see here, if you can zoom into this place here, the green plus mark was the target that we intended to pick, and the white spot at the back is the target that we got. So we are bang on. So this is what is very important. If you look at it in this also, you see here, bang on. Target planned, target reached. Target planned, target reached. Same here. So you can see in different angles that we are bang on. That's very important for us to know that we are there, so that if everything has been done right and checked, the chances of us failing in this surgery becomes less than 1%. So, and then what happens post-op? There is no IC for these patients. The only thing they have to do once the frame is off is they have to lie in bed for 24 hours, because if they sit up, they get a little headache. We allow them to head up 30 degrees to drink some fluids and eat their food and all of that. But one day, no getting up and going to bathroom, just one day. So I tell my patients, it's a punishment for a day of lying in bed. They can turn to the sides. Most patients are okay with that. But next day afternoon, the rehab team comes in and checks everything's all right, make sure there's no giddiness when they sit up, and then the patient is mobilized. On the second day after surgery, the rehab team expert comes in and does a random UPDRS score again. We want to make sure what was the score before surgery, what was the score on the second day of surgery. The same thing is repeated a month after surgery, during which time the rehabilitation is a must. Why is rehabilitation a must? Because suddenly we have burnt the circuit in the brain, and there's dynamic changes that happen. The body undergoes changes. One side of the body is cured, other side of the body is still not cured. So medicines have to be optimized. Some adjustment has to happen. Patient has to get used to this new reality. It takes some time for this acclimatization to happen, and that's why the rehab team, consisting of physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech language pathologists, actually help them to adjust this very well, and then they give feedback to the movement or neurologist. He will adjust the medicines if required. Everything together, at the end of 1 month or maximum 2 months, patient will be in a much better shape than they were before the surgery. Then there's the maintenance program, between rehabilitation and the medicines and the follow-up with the movement disorder neurologist. Patients can have good symptom-free period for many years. That's all from me in this video. Thank you very much. Namaste.